So all of you, or probably a lot of you, are thinking to relocate to Dubai, or they don't know which free zone they need to choose, which activity they have to go with. I'm going to break it down of what free zones they are, what are the pros and cons, for example, for RAK and for IFZA, and go through the documents you require and show you some samples of the license, the visa, residency, Residency, personal, and the bank accounts, for example, and the driving license. So this video is very important, so watch this to the end, and I'm going to give you also my personal experience of what I did wrong actually 5 years ago. But without that, I wouldn't be able to have this business set up, which is already 3.5 years now. We're coming up to 4 years in May, which is actually tremendous. And I'm still here. I'm still going with all the competition in UAE. I'm still doing calls. I'm still doing videos. So you can see me here, and I'm going to be here for a long time. Otherwise, I would have already give up, or I would have done something else. So let's dive now into this video, because this is very important. You need to watch it to the end. So what free zones are they? Well, there are over 40 free zones in the UAE, but only about 10 are actually very important and which get used the most. So there's SPC Charger, there's RAK and Ras Al Khaimah, for example. We have Maiden, we have IFZA and Dubai. So there's several ones you can choose, and some in Abu Dhabi and Fujairah. So it just depends on where you go. And the thing is, it doesn't matter where your company license is registered in the free zone. You can still live, operate anywhere in the UAE, or even live outside of the UAE. It doesn't matter. Yesterday I called with a client, he asked that question, and it doesn't matter. So what's very important, depending on which license and which activity you choose, that also will be important to get the bank accounts and what kind of business you want to do. So the important thing is also you have to combine 3 different activities. For example, if it's consultant, marketing, or e-com. So you can't add real estate. So real estate would be another special license, which is a main license, and you can't just open a free zone for that. It's impossible because you won't get the bank account. And that's what happened, or that's what also happened to me. So just come down to IFZA Dubai free zone. What are the pros? So it's a very trustworthy free zone, reliable, very big, have good support. Your residency and visa Residency is based then in Dubai and not in Ras Al Khaimah, for example. At the moment, they also have a lifetime visa, which will save you about $1,500 every month, and that's also quite tremendous actually. And they have a lot of different activities. So many choose holding license, so they go with the IFZA company, for example. What's the con? It just costs a bit more, or it's a bit more investment compared to going with the RAK Ras Al Khaimah, which I will come now to. So RAK Ras Al Khaimah free zone. What's the pros? It's cheaper, so $1,000 to $3,000 cheaper, or more affordable, I would say, compared to a Dubai license. But the cons of that one are the support is not very good. For banking, for example, business license, your visa and Residency are based then in Ras Al Khaimah. So it's not based in Dubai anymore. That's the difference. So for example, your driving license is showing Ras Al Khaimah. If you buy yourself a car, or you rent or leasing a car, for example, it will show Ras Al Khaimah and not Dubai. For example, your company license address is also then based in Ras Al Khaimah. So if you want to show some clients a trustworthy location or office address, Dubai is more known, so people wouldn't know about Ras Al Khaimah. These are like the pros and cons, but in the end you could go with any, just depending on what kind of activity you're doing, what's your long-term goal. So if you're thinking to have like a more, say, an Apple, I would always recommend go with a Dubai setup compared to Ras Al Khaimah. So what documents do we need from you if you do start with us? So we have a link. So every client who starts them with us, they get the link after the approval and the invoice, of course, to pay, and some documents were needed. So for example, we need your name, phone number, the business name, email. Then we have outside country home address, which is important. We need to fill that in. And then the licensed general manager email. So who's going to be the manager in the company? If it's you or you have another partner in the company, it's also very important. Type of passport, nationality, mother and father's name. This is very important if you're opening the company, religion, and the marital status. So we also have here some videos you can watch how to scan your passport, because this is very important. If you do it wrong with scanning your passport, then the free zone will reject it and you have to resend the passport again. Yeah, country of nationality, of course. And then we have the bio page of what you're doing. Then like a picture, this is me showing an example. We need a picture that white background from the studio. And then your company names, for example, of what kind of activity you want to choose. Here the company names, here's activities. And then last entry stamp if you have one, if you've been here before, and address proof of your home country also shows what we need. And yeah, that's actually it for this one. And then if you go with the banking as well, so usually most clients do go with the bio banking. I'll show you here. So this is like the bio banking form. Also put in the details, because all these details you're putting in documents, they will go automatically in our system and we can look into it. And then the consultant, for example, Rosie, she will then work on the documents and start the process for the license and the approval for the visa and everything else. So same here, just put passport copy ID and UE company license if you have. If you don't have things, don't put them in because it's not mandatory. Because sometimes we have clients, they only want the banking. So this is just here. So that's very important for this one. So let me just explain you some document overview. I'm showing you some samples of how it looks like. Bank, I'm just showing you like a screenshot of the VIO personal and the business bank account, how it looks like. You can just, of course, install it into your phone. And then we have the driving license. So this is my driving license. I used to have, that's where I made my mistakes. I will come to that in a minute. It shows Russell Kema, but actually I have everything within Dubai. It's just changed around. Then we have the golden visa and the Emirates ID. So here you can see the 2-year residency ID front and back, which everyone has. Everyone has a dedicated number. Then we have a sample IFZA free zone license, which you can see the address. There's a number in there. There's a person involved. So and also very important, no one can see your license from outside. So even if you are with another consultancy, we aren't able to see you, only if we take you over with an NOC. Mobile number, this is the Virgin app. So everyone who gets the ID gets or can register the phone number, which you need anyway to get the bank account and to combine everything. It's very important. And then just we have the RAK license, also one copy of the difference. So actually the end is all the same. Yeah, if you need any other information or you want to see some more samples or something, you can just jump on a call with me. I'll help you. I'll show you everything. Of course, we don't show any client details, so you can't see who actually this is. So what's my personal opinion? Well, 5 years ago, I made videos about that too. I didn't know what I know now, and I went with the cheapest one actually, which is RAK. I don't have it anymore. So everything was based in RAK. And in the end, my renewal charges were actually quite high. Did everything myself. It took about 6 months. I didn't know all the process. In the end, if I had the choice again, I would have paid someone. And even if it's a bit more, because time is money and it cost me 6 months. 4 banks rejected me. I didn't know why. In the end, I found out because I had the wrong license in the end, but 3 wrong activities, which was broker, commercial, trader, and consultancy or something, what they didn't combine. So the banks always rejected me. I got it open at the end through a contact, but if I knew these things, I wouldn't have done it. And I can tell you from my recommendation, it's always worthy to pay someone. Don't go with the cheapest thing. So for example, if you buy something cheap, it usually breaks and you buy it again. So in the end, you're paying double. So you should have actually paid a bit more and have something worthy, which is long-term and stable. So even if you are getting the residency in Dubai and you want to live here and you want to sponsor everyone, it's easy. You have your spouse, your children, and you have a proper dedicated address as well to show some clients if they want to check on something. So another recommendation is if you are choosing to go with like 2 or 3 licenses and 1 license doesn't need to be shown outside because you only need 1 residency in the end, then I just recommend to go with SPC Charger or Russell Kema. Just need that license because, for example, I have an e-com, I have it in SPC, and no one needs to see that. So I thought, okay, I'll save a few thousand, just paying about $2,500 for that license. Then I can use that and saving half of that amount, which is fine because no one is seeing it. So it's fine. But our license or consultancy is a mainnet license. I need a proper license as well. So if you have one structure, always choose actually the best one. So we need to find out more. You can always book that call. I give you a free strategy call of how you can do it, how you should not do it. It's free of charge. And I'll also give you always my personal experience and recommendation. I'm not going to sell you something because it will come back to me. And yeah, I made a lot of mistakes. People think sometimes they can do everything themselves and save a few thousand, but in the end, always pay someone if you trust it and you think he's good or they are good and it's worth it. Okay, in the end, you never know. And let's check out our testimonials as well in a link below. You can read about them and I can show you some proof. So yeah, looking forward to the next one. See you soon.